Greetings and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about another one of my Star Trek novels, and just like the previous book I talked about in my previous Star Trek video, the one I want to talk about today I found in a charity shop in Shrewsbury a few years ago. I don't know why it took me so long to get round to reading it, to be honest, but I'm glad I finally took the time to read this novel. And I finished reading it a couple of days ago now. And, well, the book I want to talk about today is Shadows on the Sun. And before I continue, I just want to talk about and read what it says on the back. So yeah, let's carry on. Shadows on the Sun. As a young doctor with a beautiful family and a promising medical career, Dr. Leonard McCoy thought he had it all. But when the woman he loved betrayed him, McCoy fled to Starfleet, hoping to lose his pain in the depths of space. Now, more than 40 years later, the USS Enterprise and her crew are ordered to transport a group of mediators to the planet Sarn, a world where assassination is a long, time-honored tradition. McCoy is surprised to learn his ex-wife, now remarried, is one of the mediators. Before McCoy can begin to face his feelings for his former love, she and Captain Kirk are trapped by a band of deadly assassins. Suddenly, McCoy is in the center of an explosive civil war, where he is the only one with the power to save the woman who once nearly destroyed him. McCoy must now overcome a centuries-long tradition of death and his own past with a woman he still loves, or lose her for the second time. At the end of the day, the short answer is I really enjoyed this book. It's definitely one of the better Star Trek stories I think I've ever read, to be honest here. Shadows on the Sun is split into 3 sections. The first section is the introduction to the story, and we find that this book is set immediately after the events of Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. And so the crew are on the way back to Earth for retirement when they receive their orders, which starts this particular story. And yeah, so we've got our setting established and our story begins to unfold. Part 2 of the book is set 40 years previously, where Dr. McCoy, newly graduated from Starfleet Academy, and his fellow newly graduated Starfleet doctors, they're all on their first assignment, and it takes them to this planet, the planet Sarn, which is gripped in a very bloody and messy civil war between government forces and this ancient guild of assassins. And it's at this point we find out that the planet is seeking to join the Federation, and because of that, the society is going through major changes, which includes them no longer wanting or needing this guild of assassins. And so the guild is fighting back for its very survival, traditions, beliefs, not only for itself but also on behalf of the planet as a whole. There is a lot more to go into with that, but I can't go into it right now, partly because it risks spoiling some fascinating details about the book, also because I don't know how to properly explain some of the things I want to say about the book in such a way for this particular YouTube video. I don't think I'll be able to do it justice, to be honest. But it's a really, really good section of a book, is part two. Definitely worth the whole story just for that. You get a lot of really, really good background information going on. Finally, you've got section 3, which brings everything together. Again, adds some really interesting background information, layers of really good stuff going on. And it all comes together to the conclusion of the story. Part of me was thinking it would have been nice to see certain details expanded upon, or at least things mentioned in the first part of the book returned to and mentioned once again in the final part of the book. But I guess if any of that had happened, then this entire novel would have ended up being a much bigger and longer story. But for what we've got, overall, the book is a really well-paced, well-structured, very good book to read. I had fun. I actually enjoyed reading this story from start to finish. So I'm glad I made the effort reading it. And as we've established, this is a Dr. McCoy story. He is the centre of the events that unfold in this story. So if it happens that Dr. McCoy is one of your favourite characters in all of Star Trek, especially one of your favourite characters in the original series of Star Trek, then Shadows on the Sun is definitely going to be your kind of book, because in this story we learn a lot more about Dr. McCoy, his past, the events that led him to Starfleet, and we learn about his motivations, his beliefs, his ethics, everything that makes Dr. McCoy who he is, and everything that makes him such a really, really good doctor within Star Trek and on the Enterprise. So yeah, for that reason alone, just because it's a Dr. McCoy story, is perhaps reason enough to get your hands on a copy of this book. Now, if you don't already have a copy of this book and are trying to find it, I'd say probably internet shopping is the best way to go about it. You could always try and get lucky and find it in a charity shop or a car boot sale or a second-hand bookshop somewhere, which, as I said, is what happened to me. But going down that path is going to be a long shot. It's perfectly possible you'll find it in a shop or car boot sale somewhere. I know it happened to me. But if you want something a bit more reliable, then perhaps internet shopping is the way to go somewhere, or maybe some kind of Star Trek fan group somewhere on the internet. Obviously, going down that path, you're going to need the book title, the book author, and the ISBN number. I found that really helpful in the past when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, when I was looking for a specific book. Obviously, I had the book title and author's name, but where possible, if you could get your hands on the ISBN number, then that third bit of information makes your search a lot more accurate, hopefully, and easier to find certain books. But that information on this book is going to be in the description box below this video if you're interested to follow it up. But as for the story itself, like I said, I really enjoyed it. There are many references in this book, Easter eggs. This book mentions events from different episodes of the original TV series, and I think it also mentions a couple of key events in one or two of the previous 5 films, because like I said, it's set immediately after the events of Star Trek 6 Undiscovered Country. But yeah, between the Easter eggs, the fact that this is a Dr. McCoy story, and it's potentially one of the final stories of Captain Kirk and his crew on the Enterprise A. As I said, on the way home to Earth after Star Trek 6. Yeah, they're on the way home, wanting to retire, looking forward to retirement and everything attached to that, when it's, as always, one last job, one last mission. And I don't know how else to say this beyond what I've already said. I really enjoyed reading this book from start to finish. Definitely worthwhile the effort. And for anyone wanting to get more into the novels and the books of Star Trek, definitely one of the best ones to have, or at least one of the better ones to have, in my opinion. So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna finish this video here. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, in the next couple of days I plan to pick up another Star Trek novel. Haven't decided which one yet, but when I get finished reading that book, hopefully I'll get back to YouTube and make another video trying to talk about what story it was, which book I read, and we'll go from there basically. In the meantime, take care, be safe, and I'll see you all soon in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.